Hi my friends, welcome to the channel English Professionally, and I hope that you'll support the idea of this video, really advanced English conversation. Yeah, you can support with your likes and shares, thanks a lot. And really, the question is, how can you become an advanced English speaker? Really, let's talk about it, okay? So, the question is, how can I become an advanced English speaker? Yeah? So how can I have an advanced English conversation? What does it imply? How can I have an advanced English conversation? So what does it imply? What does it imply? Or you can also ask, what does it mean? Or in other words, what is it all about? Okay? In other words, what is it all about? What is it all about? Yeah, good. So, I tend to believe that it isn't only about grammar. I tend to believe that it isn't only about grammar. It's much more than it. It's much more than it. I suppose that if you know English grammar perfectly, so, and only this thing, yeah, your level is about upper intermediate, okay? I suppose that if you know English grammar perfectly, only this thing, yeah, only this thing, your level is about upper intermediate. Your level is about upper intermediate. Okay, upper intermediate, but not more. Yeah, but not more. Okay, so you know that first we have an upper intermediate level, yes, so, and then an advanced level. Okay, so let's revise it very quickly and then we'll go ahead. So how can I become an advanced English speaker? How can I have an advanced English conversation? What does it imply, or what does it mean? In other words, what is it all about? Well, I tend to believe, yeah, a nice phrase, that it isn't only about grammar, it's much more than it. So I suppose that if you know English grammar perfectly, only this thing, your level is about intermediate but not more. So, and you might ask me how it can be, okay? So you might ask me how it can be. I'll try to explain it. First of all, I believe that you need to focus on vocabulary much more. First of all, I believe that you need to focus on vocabulary much more. So really, how many English words do you know? Really? How many English words do you know? I'm almost sure it's rather difficult to answer this question. I'm almost sure it's rather difficult. It's rather difficult to answer. It's rather difficult to answer this question. Okay, it's rather difficult to answer this question, but you need to understand. So 98% of any newspapers or magazines, but you need to understand, or you need to understand, yes, 98%, yes, about this figure, 98% of words met in newspapers, or magazines, or maybe understand. So from 95 to 98%, but I think that this figure actually it's higher. It's this, so 90 from 96 to 98% of words met in newspapers or magazines. So really, do you have this level of understanding? Do you have this level of understanding? Do you have this level of understanding? So for example, you can open a newspaper or a magazine in English. For example, you can open a newspaper or a magazine in English, and try to count so the number of words that you know, and try to count the number of words you know, or that you know. It's an important thing. Right, I believe it's the right strategy. Right, I believe it's the right strategy. So if you know only 70% or only 80%, believe me, it's too little. If you know only 70%, only 70%, only 70% or 80%, it's too little for this level. So it's too little for this level. It's too little for this level. So it means that you need to increase your vocabulary greatly. It means that you need to increase your vocabulary greatly. It should be the center of attention, or it should be the center of your attention. It should be the center. It should be the center of your attention. And you can ask only this thing. Not only. But okay, let's check it. So you might ask me how it can be, and I'll try to explain it. So first of all, I believe that you need to focus on vocabulary much more. Really, how many English words do you know? I'm almost sure it's rather difficult to answer this question, but you need to understand, I believe, about 96-98% of words met in newspapers or magazines. So do you have this level of understanding? For example, you can open a newspaper or a magazine in English and try to count the number of words you know. Right, I believe it's the right strategy. So if you know only 70% or 80%, it's too little. so it's too little for this level. It means that you need to increase your vocabulary greatly. You should be the center of your attention, only this thing. So you should also focus on pronunciation. You should also focus on pronunciation. What do you mean? You should also focus on pronunciation. Okay, so really, what do you mean? What do you mean? I mean the following. I mean the following. So beginners and intermediate students often mispronounce so different English words. So beginners and intermediate students often mispronounce different English words, and no one pays attention to it. So no one notices it. Yeah, no one pays attention to it. So anyway, if you want to sound more advanced, so you need to improve your pronunciation. Anyway, if you want to sound more advanced, you need to know, you need to improve your pronunciation. So it means that, so pronunciation and intonation as well, So moreover, you need to know so the sounds of each English word. Moreover, so you need to know the sounds. So the sounds of each English word. So people often call it transcription. People often call it transcription. Okay, so let's check it. So what do I mean? I mean the following. So beginners and intermediate students often mispronounce different English words and no one pays attention to it. So anyway, if you want to sound more advanced, you need to improve your pronunciation and intonation as well. So moreover, you need to know the sounds of each English word. So people often call it transcription. Okay, so really? Yeah, you can ask really? Okay, I have a simple question for you. How will you pronounce the following words? How will you pronounce the following words? For example, this word, and for example, this word. Yeah. So you see, these words are very simple, and most students say computer. They say computer or computer, or interesting, but in fact it isn't so. Yeah, and let me add one more word. So let me add one more word. This word. Really, how will you pronounce all these words? This one, so this word, and this word. And maybe you are sure that you pronounce all these words correctly, but it isn't so. Maybe you're sure. that you pronounce all these words, all these simple words correctly, but it isn't so. You mispronounce them. You mispronounce them and you don't know about it. You mispronounce them and you don't know about it. And you don't know about it. It's a real pity. It's a real pity. Okay, so we pronounce it not computer, but let's look at its sounds, okay? So we pronounce it this way. Look. Computer. So this sound is computer. So the same as the last sound, you see. This sound is the same as the last sound. Computer, but not computer, no. This word, yeah? So the second word. So let's look at the second word, okay? So no problem. Look. So most people say interesting, but in fact it's interesting. Look. Interesting. Look at this. Interesting. Not terroristic, but interesting. And one more word. So most people say success, but it isn't success. It's this sound. Look. Success. It's the same sound. Success. Okay, and so really it's a real problem for many students. So, and most students don't know about these things and many other things, yeah? So I think that you understand it, okay? And so you also need, and most importantly, you need to focus on speaking and on fluency. Most importantly, you need to focus on, on speaking and on fluency in particular. So please, have more English speaking practice. Have more English speaking practice. So really practice English on a regular basis, and as you might guess, so the more English speaking practice, the better. Okay, so have English speaking practice on a regular basis. On a regular basis means regularly, and as you might guess, so the more English speaking practice, so the better. So it's very good to have more English speaking practice, okay? But anyway, let's check it, okay? So really, I have a simple question for you. How will you pronounce the following words, yeah? Computer, interesting. Let me add one more word, success. So computer, interesting, success. So maybe you're sure that you pronounce all these simple words correctly, but it isn't so. So you mispronounce them and you don't know about, you don't know about it. So it's a real pity. And most importantly, so you need to focus on speaking and fluency in particular. So have more English speaking practice, have English practice on a regular basis. So as you might guess, the more English speaking practice, the better. Okay, thank you very much. So I really hope that you enjoyed, or you thoroughly enjoyed, this great course. Yeah, you can say, so I enjoyed, or I really enjoyed. Yes, I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed it, yeah. But if you want, to sound more advanced, you just try to use more advanced vocabulary. So you can say I thoroughly enjoyed this video. It means that you really enjoyed it and you like it so much, yeah. So I thoroughly enjoyed this video. Okay, and so let's change our life here today. Don't, put off till tomorrow. So let's do something today and right now. Okay, thank you very much, my friends. So I really hope that you thoroughly enjoyed this video and you thoroughly enjoy, learning English on this channel. Thanks a lot. See you. Bye.